So how do you grow your business, get more clients and customers, and increase your revenue? Well, in this episode, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 strategies that you need to use that will not only help you grow your business, but will also set you up for success and ensure your business is always in demand. All right, let's get to it. Hey there, my name is Erhart, marketing strategist, and welcome to the channel, the #1 place for entrepreneurs to learn proven marketing strategies to grow your business online. Now, when it comes to growing your business, to generating more leads, more clients, more customers, more sales, and more revenue, well, there's a number of different strategies and tools and tactics you can use, but they all have one thing in common, one underlying characteristic that essentially ties them all together. Essentially, no matter what strategy or tactic you're using, they all revolve around the principle of getting more people to know about you and then more of those people to buy from you. That's pretty much it. Because the reality is that nobody can buy from you if they don't even know you exist. Sounds profound, and yet at the same time profoundly simple, and yet this is one of the biggest obstacles when it comes to growing your business. The simple question of, do enough people know that you exist? Which is really one of the most basic and important marketing questions of all time, which is, does everybody who could buy from you and that you want to sell to, well, do they even know you exist? And if the answer is no, the answer is almost always no. And you've got some marketing to do. But if you've ever tried marketing your business before, if you've ever tried to grow it, well, then you probably realize and understand that marketing on its own isn't good enough. You're going to need a very specific and a very strategic kind of marketing in order to really grow your business and in order to generate those clients and those customers and that revenue that you need and that you want. I remember back to the good old days, and before I cracked this code, before I really unlocked these strategies that I'm about to share with you, and sure, my business was growing. I was working just fine. I was making good money, but I was working really hard. Like, we're talking about 14 to 16 hour days, 6 or 7 days a week. No vacations, no breaks, and doing this for years on end. It wasn't pretty. And I definitely do not advise this hustle, burnout strategy of essentially just working yourself to complete and utter exhaustion. I mean, sure, it worked, but in hindsight, I had to make way too many sacrifices, and essentially I ended up working harder rather than working smarter, rather than working on the right things and the things that were actually designed to grow my business and really to help move me in the direction I wanted to go. Anyway, it was by sheer brute force, or pig-headed determination, whatever you want to call it, that I was first able to stumble across the first strategy. And when I unlocked this, well, my business started to grow and I started to generate leads and clients on autopilot, almost seemingly overnight. And something clicked inside me that was like, I think I can figure this out. It was like finally things were easier. Anyway, fast forward a few years after that, and I unlocked strategy #2. This is when things really started to take off. But it wasn't until even a few years after that that I finally clued into strategy #3, and I put them all together that things really started to accelerate, and honestly, I'll never go back to how it was before. And that's what I want for you too. So to make sure that you're able to grow your business and that your well of customers and ready to buy clients never runs dry, well, you're gonna need these 3 things too. So with all that said, let's dive into them now. Oh yeah, also, one more quick note. Before we dive into them, make sure you stick around to the end, because not only am I gonna give you the 3 strategies that I've used, I'm also gonna show you how to get them all from one single source. Okay. Now we're ready. All right, so we've established that in order to grow your business, you're going to need more people to know about you because they can't buy from you if they don't know you exist. And this is marketing's job. So the key here then is to really identify what traffic sources or where we can tap into potential clients and potential customers so we can make sure that your business never runs out of them and you've got a ton of different opportunities in order to reach new people and to serve them. Well, the very first strategy that you're going to want to use, and this is the one that I tapped into first, was all about search traffic. Now, when we're talking about search traffic, we can also call it intent-based traffic, because what this is a client or a customer that has some kind of intent, some kind of intention to go out there and find a solution for a problem that they're currently experiencing. And when we're talking about search-based traffic, we're talking typically about things like Google or Yahoo or Bing or any of the search engines. But also YouTube falls under there as well because it is the world's 2nd largest search engine. Now there's some massive pros when it comes to doing search traffic. Number 1 is that you're tapping into an audience of people who are actively searching for a solution. I mean, really, there's probably no better or more qualified type of client or customer than somebody who's actively searching for a problem that your business is uniquely positioned to solve. So if you can find a way to show up in front of them through search marketing, well, you're going to give yourself a far greater likelihood of getting found and getting sold and basically being able to do business with them. This is essentially how I grew my first business. I was ranking for terms like marketing consultant and marketing agency and marketing strategy social media marketing, and all those types of things. So when people would type those terms into the search engines, my website or my videos would appear and they would call me and then I would get clients. So that sounds amazing, right? But obviously there's some cons to it as well. And the biggest one by far is that if you really want to grow your business, well, you can't control somebody else going to a search engine and typing in a search term, which means that your growth is limited based on how many people are actively searching for that term. There's some other problems too, mainly the fact that competition is pretty high for search terms because they are so valuable. So if you want to succeed, you're going to need a pretty dialed in search strategy in order to rank higher and basically appear for these search terms that you're after. Kind of a continuation of the last point is that also you're going to have competitors, which means that your clients and customers are going to be looking at your competitors, which means that your marketing, your offer, your presentation, your differentiation, your positioning, everything that makes your business unique and really stand out among the crowd, well, you're going to need to make sure that's dialed in so that when a client or a customer stumbles across you, as well as all your competitors, they're going to have a really compelling incentive and belief of why they would want to do business with you opposed to everybody else that just appeared for the same rankings. Regardless though, the pros definitely outweigh the cons. So if you want to generate traffic and if you want to get more people to your offer, to your website, to your videos, to your marketing in general, search is definitely something that you want to include. But it really is just one piece of the puzzle, which leads me to the next strategy that you want to deploy, and that's all about discovery marketing. Discovery marketing could also be referred to as interruption marketing, because that's kind of what it is. Basically what you're doing here is you're taking content and you're putting it in front of people and essentially interrupting them because they're not actively searching for your business or for the solution that you provide. Now, when we're talking about discovery marketing, we're talking about platforms like social media ones like Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. Also, we're talking about things like YouTube, which yes, is a social media and yes, is also a search engine, but it also has some amazing discovery capabilities as well. Specifically the fact that the YouTube algorithm really wants to put your content in front of the right buyers, in front of the right viewers for whatever business or service that you sell. So you can set your videos up to not only be found for search, but also for discovery through the suggested and through the homepage and through the browse. Now, the pros of discovery marketing are huge. Specifically the fact that we don't need somebody to go to a search engine and type in a search term for our business to appear. Rather, we can go out there and we can tap into the billions and billions of monthly active users across all of these different social media networks and put our offer and put our business directly in front of them. One of the biggest questions I get is, Adam, is my target market on YouTube? Or Adam, is my target market on Facebook? Or Adam, is my target market on Instagram? And the answer is almost always yes, in some way, shape, or form. That said, there are going to be different channels and different platforms that are better for your business. But if you're selling to people, well, most people use one or many social media platforms. So the key is really just to identify where they're the most active and the most present and to go there first. So discovery marketing is amazing and it allows you to grow rapidly and reach a ton of people very quickly. But of course, there are some cons that come along with this. Specifically, if you're trying to grow organically and you're using a really saturated platform like Facebook or like Instagram, well, it's going to be hard to get your content in front of your ideal viewers without paying to play or without running ads to them. And if you do decide to go down the paid traffic route and run Facebook ads or Instagram ads or something like that, well, if you don't know what you're doing, it's a great way to lose a whole lot of money really quickly, because to run a successful ad campaign, you really need to make sure that your offer is dialed in, your targeting is dialed in, your copy and creative and the images you use is dialed in. Essentially, everything needs to be really on point. I'm not saying it can't be done. In fact, I've done this for years, and this has been one of the major strategies for growing my business as well as most of my clients' businesses to multi-6, 7, and even 8 figures. But you need to know what you're doing. Fortunately, there are still some social media networks, some discovery networks that are a lot more open for business when it comes to organic marketing and not needing to run ads. Specifically, LinkedIn's looking pretty good right now, as well as there's still a ton of opportunity on YouTube for organic marketing to really produce videos and have them seen by your ideal target market without needing to pay to play. In fact, this video you're watching right now is probably a perfect example of that. This isn't a paid video ad, rather this is an organic YouTube video hosted on the channel, being seen by you now. It's like magic. All right, so the third kind of strategy that you need to deploy, especially if you want to have that never-ending pipeline and unlimited leads, clients, customers, and sales, well, the third type is earned media or earned traffic, also known as owned traffic. The beauty of earned traffic or owned media, or however you want to call it, essentially is that you own it. This is your audience that someone has given you permission to market to them. So when we're talking about earned media or owned media, we're typically talking about things like an email list or an SMS or text marketing list, or even to a lesser extent, your subscribers on your YouTube channel, especially if they've hit that notification bell, so they'll be notified whenever you post new content. Now, obviously, there are some pretty big pros when it comes to having earned or owned media, specifically the fact that you control it and you own this marketing asset, which means you're not at the mercy of the different social media algorithms to decide what type of your content gets shown and what gets hidden and basically never sees the light of day. But like all things, there are cons to it as well. Specifically, if you've watched email open rates decline over the past few years, well, you're not alone. In fact, we used to see email open rates of 50% and 60%, sometimes 70%. And now 20%, 30% is considered pretty good, which means that like 1 in 5 people is actually opening and reading the emails that you send. That's not great. But like the other strategies, the pros do outweigh the cons, so you do want to deploy this in your marketing and in your business. But the real key here is to have an adequate mix of search traffic, discovery traffic, and earned or owned media. And this is why I highly recommend using this platform and this strategy in your business, because it really enables you to tackle all 3 of these at the same time. And that platform is, drumroll please, YouTube. Probably no surprise here, but I'm a pretty big advocate, pretty big fan of using YouTube marketing to grow your business, to generate new leads, generate new clients, generate more sales and revenue for your business, because, well, aside from the fact that it is such an incredibly popular and powerful social media network, it also checks all of the boxes for search traffic, discovery traffic, and earned or owned media, at least to a lesser extent on that one, but still enough to justify it. So the next piece of the puzzle is really to make sure that your marketing strategy is dialed in and on point, which is why the next thing you're going to want to do is check out the video I have linked up right here on Introduction to Marketing. So make sure to check that out now, and I'll see you in the next episode. In reality, marketing isn't advertising, but advertising is marketing. Let me explain. Basically, marketing is a major business function.